Good morning, students. The next topic in the chapter is consumerism. Okay, here the word that you have to understand is consumer. Okay, consumer means a person who consumes. Okay, because in this topic we are studying about healthcare. Who is a consumer in healthcare? The patient is the consumer. Okay, so consumerism, when applied to healthcare, suggests that users of health service, that is patients, they should play a active role in making informed choices about their health. So if you are a health worker, you are a medical sociologist, or if we are doctors, who decides the treatment for the patient? Usually the doctor decides the treatment for patient. But in consumerism, what we are trying to say is the user of the health service, that is the patient, they should have an active role in deciding about their health, about their treatment. Okay, so consumers are the ones who have more power than the service providers. So more than the hospital or a health worker or doctor, the patient himself should have power to decide what is best for his treatment. So that is what consumerism is all about. Okay, these days the industry is playing a major role. Industry means pharmaceutical companies, the pharma companies who make medicines. They make a lot of medicines and they make a lot of money. Hospitals make a lot of money. The medical devices, CT scan makers and CT scan users, they make money. But that should go and the patient should make choices so that what is correct for their health, they should be able to decide. So patients are the consumers in healthcare industry, and the hospitals and the other health this thing provides service. So the service seekers are the health patients. So as consumers, patients or clients have rights. Okay, so to protect their rights, the government of India has made a law called the Consumer Protection Act of 1986. Initially, this Consumer Protection Act was not made for medical field. It is made mainly for all consumers. Like suppose you buy a packet of biscuit and the biscuit is broken, it's spoiled, or if you buy chocolate or cool drinks and there are worms inside the cool drinks, so who is at fault? You are the consumer, so that you can take the company to court. Okay, so your rights as a consumer is protected by this law. So but at the same time, over a period of time, slowly the health service also became a consumer service. So the doctors, when they provide service, they take money, so they collect fees. So the people who pay money, who are the patients, they are the service users. Okay, so the service users have rights, and because they are paying money for the service, the doctors have to give the correct treatment and the patient's right should be maintained. So this is why the healthcare service is also under the Consumer Protection Act of 1986. Okay, so these days there is a lot of medical negligence. Okay, medical negligence we'll see in the last topic of this chapter. Medical negligence and malpractice, where doctors make mistakes in their treatment. Okay, or breach of confidentiality, the patient's information is leaked to other people. Okay, so these should not be done by the health professional or health worker, but when it is done, then patients can take the health worker to court. Okay, so the consumer should have the choice of treatment. There are different types of treatments. For example, suppose you need to fix a pacemaker in your heart. Suppose your heart is not functioning well and you need to fix a pacemaker. There are pacemakers that cost 50,000. There are pacemakers that cost 1 lakh. There are pacemakers that cost 3 lakhs. And same way for cancer treatment, there are 50,000 rupee drugs. There are 1 lakh drugs, 1 lakh rupee drugs. There are 3 lakh rupee drugs. So the patient should decide which is the best treatment for him. The doctor or the health worker should advise and tell which is better for the patient, but the ultimate decision should be the patient. So this is where medical sociologists have a major role to play, because there are so many varieties of treatment and varieties of things going on. the medical sociologist should actually decide which is best for the patient in consultation with the doctor and advise the patient. So in every cancer hospital there will be sociologists, medical sociologists, counseling the patient on the right treatment, which treatment to take, when to take, how to take, and organ donation. So all these things the patients should decide. So the health workers can only inform and counsel the patient. The doctors will not have time to tell everything to the patient. So the health worker, like medical sociologist or a nurse, takes time in explaining all these things to the patients. So in UK there is something called as a patient's charter. Okay, so that helps to improve the standards for the patients, and they are given rights. So when patients are given rights, usually the quality is improved in the hospitals. And in Western countries, there is, for surgeries there are waiting lists. So all these things are explained to the patient, and the emphasis is on the doctor patient interaction. So the doctor should spend time with the patients. That is why in Western countries one doctor will see only 10 to 15 patients per day, whereas in developing countries like India, each doctor sees 100 patients per day. One thing is the population, but there, because already the importance is given to patients' rights and patient information is given a lot of emphasis, the number of patients seen is very less. So there has also been research which shows that patients would like to know information about their condition. Most of the patients tell that they like to know about the information. Doctors should not just come and treat them like that. They should discuss with the patient and tell them about their health situation. But their doctors can decide on their behalf on which is best. So this is one research topic that you can do in various diseases, whether the doctors are consulting patients and whether the patients are getting enough information about their health condition. So this is some research that you can do in your third year if you are interested. Okay, so what is the role of a medical sociologist and what you should know about Consumer Protection Act? So who is a healthcare consumer? I already told you the patient is a healthcare consumer. Okay, a consumer is a person who hires or avails any health services on payment. So if the payment is made, then the health worker should provide adequate service. Okay, so the service that is provided by the health worker should be correct and appropriate. Sometimes even if the patient has not paid but has promised to pay the health worker, even then the health worker is liable to be taken to court if that service is poor. For example, if the patient has told the hospital he will pay 5 lakhs, please do surgery, I have already paid an advance of 1 lakh, or even if he is not paid anything, the hospital makes a mistake and does not do surgery or does wrong surgery, then the hospital has to pay compensation for the patient. So that is what health consumerism is all about. So what is a complaint? A complaint is a written allegation made by the consumer or patient, saying that they have suffered loss or damage, or there was a deficiency in service, improper service, not proper service was given to the patient. So what is deficiency of service? Deficiency of service means, in simple words, suppose your phone is not working. You bought a new phone and your phone is not working. You take it to the company which sold you the phone. What will they tell? They'll try to repair it. If they cannot repair it, they have to replace and give you a new phone. Okay, suppose they do not give you a new phone, you can take the company to the court. Same way in hospital, any fault or wrong, if you do wrong surgery, if you do surgery instead of right cataract surgery, you have done left cataract surgery, or instead of keeping a high quality implant inside the body, you have kept a low quality implant, or you have done something wrong to the patient. All these things are deficiency in service, and the health worker or doctor can be punished by law for providing poor service. Okay, so where will the complaint be filed? A complaint can be filed in the district forum. There is a district consumer office. The patient can file a complaint in the district forum if the compensation claimed is less than 20 lakh rupees. Okay, if the compensation claimed is less than 1 crore but more than 20 lakh, then state commission of the consumer forum, they can file the complaint. If the compensation claimed by the patient is more than 1 crore, they have to approach the National Commission for Consumer Redressal. Okay, so in medical negligence, which again we'll be seeing in the last topic of this chapter, negligence is simply failure to exercise due care. So as a health worker, you have to give proper care to the patient. If you do not give that proper care, then it tells that you are negligent. There are three things coming under this. The defendant owes a duty of care to the plaintiff. The defendant has breached this duty of care, and the plaintiff has suffered injury due to this breach. That is, you have a duty to provide care to the patient. That is the first thing. And if you are not giving the due care, that means you have breached your duty of care. That is wrong. And if the patient has suffered an injury because of that lack of care, then the patient can take you to court. Okay, so this is about consumerism. That is, patient is the consumer and healthcare worker is the service provider. And as service provider, we have to provide good quality, correct service. If we do not give that kind of care, then the consumer or the patient can take you to court. Okay, the next topic in this chapter is social movement and health. What is social movement and health? Okay, what is the relationship between that? First, let's see what is social movement. Social movement means a group of people who want some change in the society. Okay, so social means society, movement means people who are having a active role to try to change the society. There are so many social movements going on around us. Okay, for example, there are people who are telling climate change, you have to prevent climate change. There are people who are telling you have to protect animals. There are people who are telling you have to reduce pollution. So there are so many people having movements, social movements to bring change in the society. So when people do a movement to bring change in the healthcare system, then it is social movement related to health. Okay, so in other words, there are social movements against untouchability. People are in the society are telling you should not practice untouchability, racism, all that. Even now in US there is a lot of riots going on because one black person was killed, and so all the people are protesting against the government. So that is a social movement. So when it is related to health, when 1,000 people gather in Chennai and they all say give us free health care, give us good quality health care, then it becomes a social movement for health. Another example is for Jallikattu, all the people of Tamil Nadu, they sat in Dharna. So that is another social movement. So I hope you understood the meaning of social movement. So it's mainly done for other reasons in society, like women's freedom, environmental, disability and animal protection. So when it is done for the health system, then it is social movement for health. So one of the diseases that has affected the whole world is coronavirus, and that has brought the politicians, bureaucrats, all the people, and they are together trying to solve this problem of coronavirus. But this is again called a social movement. The whole world and the whole society is fighting against a disease. So they have told that we have to practice social distancing, wearing masks. So that is protecting people against so many other diseases also. Because you are wearing mask, because you are washing your hands, you do not get cold, you do not get other infections, viral infections. So actually it is one type of social movement or health social movement. So what are the outcomes of health social movement? The main thing that you want is health access and increased quality of care. Okay, so every person in this country wants access to good health care. If we get sick, do you want good health care? Yes, all of us want, our family members want. So when we tell the government and try to get this good quality health care, then it is health social movement. Okay, so how can the health social movement change the policies? The medical policy of the government, public health policy, belief system, research, practice, everything should change. so that everybody gets good quality health care, equal health care in all parts of the country. For example, recently because of coronavirus, the Delhi government told they will not admit patients from other states. So that is a wrong policy, because healthcare in all over the country is for all the citizens of the country. So we have to make health social movements for the government to make the right policies. Okay, so but there will be lot of challenges or lot of opposition, barriers to health social movements. Okay, so who are the barriers? The political people, professional authorities, and people who are pharmaceutical companies. They all make money. So if you ask for low cost healthcare, then they will fight against it because they cannot make money. The politicians will fight against it because they want everybody, they have their own agenda. So like that, every group of people, they can be barriers for health social movements. Mainly the whole health social movements want to address three things: access or provision to healthcare services, and prevention of disease, good illness experience, that is, instead of bad experience you have to have good experience. Disability rights, now we have barrier free environment in all over the country. That is, we have ramps in hospitals, public buildings. That means people who are not able to walk, they have wheelchair or crutches, they can enter all the buildings. So like that, the health, so that is one health social movement for the disability rights. Okay, so we have to fight for inequality or equality. There is presently inequality in healthcare based on race, ethnicity, gender, class, which you all studied in social patterning of health. So there is a lot of inequality in healthcare. So the health social movements should fight for equality in healthcare for everybody. There should be no inequality based on poor, rich, age, sex, or any other factor. Okay, when such things are changed and equality is provided for everybody, then we will have a good healthcare policy in the whole society. Okay, so let us see benefits of health social movements. This is again true in coronavirus. People take more control over healthcare services. Okay, now the government, initially they told we all have to stay at home and wear masks, wash our hands, but now they are saying it cannot be controlled very quickly. So all of us have to take responsibility. We cannot depend on the health workers alone. Every single citizen of this country should take control and participate in the health movement by wearing mask, by washing hands, and also distancing socially. So people should take control over the health services. Then people should help themselves and stay well. So if people do not take care of their own health, then everybody will get ill. So we should try, all the people of the country should try to get well as early as possible. Then communities, the central government is there, state government is there, they are doing their best, but each community, each village, each small family or community should take care of their own health needs. That will reduce the burden of the state government and the central government, and more people will be able to lead good lives if the health social movements achieve the objective. Okay, and hospital services should be accessed only for serious problems. A lot of people, just because health service is free, they go for cold, they go for sneezing, they go for small things to the hospital. So what happens is the health system is overburdened by this. So instead, only for serious ailments, the health services, especially tertiary care centers, should be visited. Then the benefits of health social movement is there is health promotion. You see a lot of advertisements on TV telling about health social movement. So that will or health promotion, that helps to change the lifestyle of people. So more people are going for walking, they eat good food, they eat a lot of protein, and so like that helps in improving the health of the people. So how can we achieve this health social movement. We should involve the local community leaders in decision making. In community health programs, all the village heads are usually discussed in any health program. So that should be done because they are the local leaders. So they should know what is right for their own people. Then we should try to change the culture so that they have access to proper health care. These days, women who are sick, they do not have access to proper health care. Only the males of the house have priority, and uh, children have priority. Older people do not have access to health care. So we should change this culture so that women, old people, and disadvantaged, disabled people, they all get access to healthcare or equal access to healthcare. Then we should influence the politicians to prioritize healthcare. Before this coronavirus came, the government spent so many crores on buying Rafale aircraft, on military, on so many other things, but they spent very little on healthcare. So that is why our health system, Indian health system, is unable to fight against this coronavirus. Okay, so we should slowly influence the politicians so that they give priority to healthcare more than other things. That will provide good health system for the whole country. And as I said already, we should provide equality in healthcare, make sure everybody has equal access. There is no discrimination based on caste, religion, gender, and there is equal healthcare for everybody. Okay, there is a scale called the social movement inventory of involvement scale. This can be used to see if people are involved in the health social movements. So it actually measures how many people are involved in health social movements. So I have got that scale, I downloaded it. If any of you are interested this year or next year for your research projects, please contact me. You can use that scale to see how the general population is involved in health social movements. Okay, thank you. We'll see you in the next class.